Hey everyone, and a massive welcome to all the kids tuning in from all across the USA. Get ready, because today we are jumping straight into a high-energy explainer, where we're uncovering the absolutely mind-blowing, literal comic book abilities of electric fish. Now, you might think superpowers only exist in movies, right? But nature has evolved some incredibly shocking abilities right here on Earth.
Okay, let's dive into this by asking a pretty wild question. What kind of creature possesses these unbelievable abilities? Think about it. Built-in radar to see in the pitch dark, a biological taser to freeze its enemies, and literally the power to control another animal's mind and muscles? No way, right? It sounds exactly like a superhero, but the answer is swimming in the rivers of South America and Africa right now.
Part 1. Meet the electric superfish. So here's a wild plot twist right away. Despite their name, electric eels are actually not eels at all. Nope, they're a type of knife fish. But what they are absolutely most famous for is their unbelievable electrical power.
860. For a really long time, scientists thought there was only one single species of electric eel. But recently, deep in the Amazon, they discovered a brand new species that can generate a shock of up to 860 volts. That is the strongest electrical discharge of any known animal on the planet. It completely, utterly smashes all the previous records. But how do they actually do it?
Well, the crucial piece of the puzzle is understanding their biology. These fish have evolved specialized organs made of cells called electrocytes. Think of an electrocyte kind of like a modified muscle cell that lost its ability to contract, and instead it acts exactly like a tiny battery. And here's the crazy part. The electric eel's body is so incredibly long that these electric organs take up about 80% of its entire length. All of its vital organs, like its stomach and heart, are totally crowded into the front 20%. The rest, it's literally just rows and rows of biological batteries waiting to be unleashed.
But not all electric animals generate power the exact same way. Take electric rays, for example. They live in the salty ocean, and they deliver over 400 rapid pulses in a row using electrically charged atoms called ions. But our friend the electric eel? It lives in the fresh waters of the Amazon. It sends positively charged sodium rushing through its electric organs to reverse the charge and generate a massive current. And why does this matter? Well, this specific trick can only work in fresh water. If the eel lived in the salty ocean, its positively charged head would connect with its negatively charged tail, and zap, it would completely short-circuit itself. Game over for the eel.
Now, before we go any further, just a really quick but absolutely crucial reminder. Animals use electricity to survive, and it's an awesome superpower out in nature. But in our homes, electricity is incredibly dangerous. Never, ever mix electricity and water in real life. Let's just leave the electrical superpowers to the fish, okay?
All right, part 2. Real-life mind control. This is exactly where the eel goes from just being a swimming battery to a brilliant, tactical superhero. Imagine an eel out hunting where other fish are hiding under rocks. The eel sends out this super quick, low-voltage pulse called a doublet. If a fish is hiding nearby, this pulse zaps right through the fish's skin and literally forces its muscles to twitch. So the hidden prey twitches uncontrollably, which creates a little ripple in the water. The eel senses that ripple, knows exactly where its dinner is, and instantly unleashes a massive, high-voltage blast. It literally forces the prey to give away its own hiding spot. Scientist Ken Catania actually calls these fish optimized biological tasers. When the eel unleashes that full blast, it totally exhausts the prey's muscles. Think of it like a snake using venom to paralyze its prey, but the eel uses sheer electricity to lock up the fish's body instantly. Pretty wild, right?
Part 3. The leaping defense attack. So what on earth happens when the eel is the hunted instead of the hunter?
Well, way back in March of 1800, this famous explorer named Alexander von Humboldt told a legendary story about locals using horses to fish for electric eels. He described this massive battle where eels exploded out of the water, pressing themselves right up against the horses to shock them. For over 200 years, people thought this was just, a crazy tall tale. But then in 2016, that same scientist, Ken Catania, was moving eels with a metal-rimmed net, and the eels explosively leaped out of the water to attack the net. He proved Humboldt's 200-year-old story was actually completely true.
But why leap out of the water in the first place? It's all about physics. When the eel is completely submerged, a lot of its power just leaks harmlessly into the surrounding water.
But when the eel leaps up and presses its chin against a threat in the air, well, the water can no longer absorb that shock. The electricity travels from the eel directly through the predator's body and then back down into the water. It basically blasts the highest possible voltage right into the attacker. Moving on to part 4, secret electrical radar senses. We've talked a whole lot about high-voltage weapons so far, but let's shift gears to weakly electric senses.
A really perfect example of this is Peter's elephant nose fish. It's native to the muddy rivers of Central and Western Africa. Now, in these waters, visibility is sometimes just a few centimeters. You literally can't rely on your eyes. So, this fish has a special organ right at the base of its tail that generates a continuous, three-dimensional electrical field all around its body. It has over 2,000 sensors all over its skin, especially on that funky trunk-shaped lower jaw. Whenever a worm or an insect enters this field, it actually bends the electricity. The fish feels this bend and knows exactly where its dinner is hiding in the dark mud.
And get this, processing all those invisible signals takes massive computing power. The elephant nose fish actually has a cerebellum to body size ratio that is greater than a human's. Yeah, greater than ours. It needs this massive brain power not just to hunt, but also to communicate. See, these fish live in groups and use their electric organs to chat with each other using a whole wide vocabulary of electrical pulses. It's a completely invisible, silent language happening right beneath the surface.
Part 5. Why don't they shock themselves? This is the ultimate superpower mystery. We know they can unleash an 860-volt blast, so why in the world don't they electrocute themselves? Well, scientists are actually still debating this, but there are 3 leading theories. First up is body size. An electric eel can weigh up to 50 pounds and grow 8 feet long, so the shock it delivers hurts a tiny fish a whole lot more than it hurts a giant eel. Second is the water itself. As we learned from that leaping defense, water safely pulls a lot of the charge away from the eel's own body. And finally, genetics. Scientists have found that electric fish might just have special DNA that builds built-in insulation. It's kind of like the rubber coating on a wire, naturally protecting their own organs.
But you know, even with all those theories, experts admit that their total invulnerability to their own blast remains largely an unsolved mystery in biology. And honestly, that is what's so exciting about science. There is always more to discover. So, I'm going to leave you with this. What do you think the answer is to the electric eel's invincibility? And what incredible animal superpower out there in the wild should we investigate next? Keep questioning, keep exploring, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.